Hey, how you doing? I'm recording a video in the middle of the day, which is a bit odd for me, but I've got a bit of time, so I thought it'd be fun to watch a fight. It's King of the Streets again, and this time, they're in a tunnel. So, I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's only a 3-minute video, so it should be a relatively short one, but knowing the way I talk, yeah, it could end up being quite a long video. If you just want to watch the fight, the link is down below. It's in the description. It always is. So if you're one of those people that comes and watches a reaction video and then gets cross because somebody's reacting to something, then yeah, maybe check out the description first. So let's go straight to this. It's clearly a tunnel. It looks pretty cool to me. It's an interesting look. It's still got this kind of almost post-apocalyptic type vibe to it. And I'm growing to quite like it, to be honest. So let's hit play and see who's fighting who. Okay, Cyrus versus Hunter. I don't know either of these two guys. Right, let's just pause that for a moment. We've got a street fighter called Cyrus from Afghanistan. If he's from Afghanistan, he's probably had a relatively tough life. He's 66 kilograms and 170 centimetres. So he's not a big man at all. You know, I mean, I'm 106 kilos at the moment. Obviously carrying a little bit more weight than I should, but even so, and I'm about 183, 184 centimetres. Hunter is from Colombia, so he's potentially not had a particularly pleasant upbringing either. 180 centimetres and 70 kilos. So he's got 4 kilos and 10 centimetres. We don't know what these guys' backgrounds are. They both look like, if you look at them, you don't think, yeah, they're not going to do it. So I guess we probably have to go for the guy with 10 centimetres of height and 4 kilos of weight. But the rule of ears would suggest that perhaps Cyrus has the edge. Let's see. Okay, and here we go. Oh, little Superman punch. That's quite interesting, isn't it? Old, tall Colombian man was doing a really weird thing with his hands then, wasn't he? I'm not sure what that's about, but, you know, didn't really seem to do him any favours. And, yeah, our little Afghanistani fighter didn't let the fact that he's clearly got a much shorter reach stop him. He just leapt into the air and punched him in the face, and down he went. Let's see if he can capitalise on it. Okay, he's got the legs, he's attempting to get... Okay, watching this, I think he's done some BJJ, you know, because he hasn't immediately gone to smash this guy. He's not gone to squash him to get on top. What he's gone to is to get the feet and to attempt a guard pass. And, yeah, that feels like a bit of an odd thing to switch into fairly traditional jiu-jitsu grappling at this point. But it does suggest that he's done some grappling, so might be doing quite well now. I suspect that being on your back on the floor isn't particularly fun for the guy on the bottom, but you will note, those of you that think that you shouldn't ever worry about grappling because nobody goes to the ground because it's a horrible place, he's on the ground and he's still fighting. So even though he's rolling around on concrete, it hasn't stopped him. Let's see if Cyrus can pass his guard, and let's see if he just looks to the side to see if the ref allocates him some points. Yeah, the impression I get there is that he's watched a few videos on some leg locks, maybe even drilled them once or twice in training, and he's trying really hard to remember how to do them, and he's just kind of pulling and twisting a bit to see what happens. And yeah, I mean, there are some cracking leg locks you can get from there. There's a lovely Achilles lock that you can do. There's some videos of Josh Barnett teaching it. I've done it with Josh, and it was, I mean, it's a fantastic technique if you can get it. And I think he's He's set up for it, but he clearly doesn't know it. Let's go back and just watch, because it's quite funny. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on here. I think he's trying to secure the leg. Is he trying to get around it so he can pass? Yeah, he is. Oh, okay, he's gone to a north-south. He's got reverse mount, interesting. Okay, and there we go. Right, so he should at this point have it, because he's got a decent side control. Now, if you've got any real wrestling ability, then you should be able to just hold somebody down in side control. And if you can hold them in side control, then you can hit them in side control. If you've got a good side control, you can probably pass to a head and arm ride, Kesagatame. And if you've got that, then you should be able to finish the fight. There are a number of submissions that you can do from there, or you can simply tie up their near arm and punch them in the face until they give in. Really relatively simple. We were doing something very much along these lines at my catch class only last night, which is quite interesting. Let's see if I think it's Cyrus, isn't it? Let's see if Cyrus can actually capitalise on the fact that he's on top in a really dominant position, and he should be able to win it at this point. Okay, oh, he's got a choke. Oh, that's interesting. So he's going for the guillotine, but he's going for the guillotine, but it looks like he might have the far arm in there, which isn't going to do him any favours. He's probably not going to be able to get it tight enough. And the other guy is doing his very best to stop him from hipping in, which is a very sensible thing to do at this point. I'm intrigued. Let's see how this goes. It could finish very quickly, or maybe not. Yeah, we can't blame him for a couple of little punches, just framing against the hips. Okay, so clearly this isn't a good guillotine. You know, he's got an arm in there as well. There's a bit of space. He's not going to finish it at this point unless something changes. My guess is that he's around the guy's arm as well, so his right arm is around the person's left arm, which means that he can't then really get any solid pressure through that neck. He's looking at maybe a head and arm choke, but with himself in between the head and the arm, that's clearly not going to happen either. If it were me at this point, I'd maybe look to transition to something else. I'd maybe look to turn that into a half ouch and take him down into a neck crank, or possibly just pull guard, and then, you know, a guillotine choke from a close guard is relatively easy to do, and he should be able to do that. Let's see if he does either of those things. No, he's just pulling his weight down. Okay, that's interesting. Clearly, as he stepped in to try and drop his weight down, he gave, I think that's Hunter, his foot. He's not actually choking him out, so he just took his foot, he fell backwards onto the ground. He's still got the not quite guillotine choke, but now Hunter appears to be in full mount on top of him, and choking somebody out when they've got full mount on you, it's not easy. And he's certainly not in a good position for it. So let's see if Hunter can escape this. Yeah, he's throwing a few little body shots in. Not enough to do an awful lot of damage, I wouldn't have thought. But, yeah, interesting point. You can see on his back that the concrete's done a bit of damage, and now it's going to be doing exactly the same to Cyrus. That, I think, is quite interesting. You can, you know, it's not stopped the fight. But it's there, it's happening. They probably haven't even really felt it, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think that this is a pretty clear sign that Cyrus isn't a particularly experienced grappler, because in this situation, maybe I'm getting into the king of the streets way of thinking, but what I'd be doing here is I'd be, if I were underneath with that guillotine not quite on, what you want is to get that arm out and to frame on the shoulder. He's going to be very wary about doing that, because if he lets go of the arm, then I suspect Hunter's coming up at that. He's going to break away. He's probably only just holding on for dear life as it is. So what I'd be doing is I'd be looking to roll over onto my left, which both allows me to get a little bit of extra pressure through the choke itself, but also they're on concrete. So it allows him to kind of grind his opponent's head into the concrete, and whilst that's not going to stop the fight, it's likely to take his mind off what else is going on for long enough that he can get that arm out, brace it, come through, secure it, and then really crank the guillotine and finish the fight. I don't think he's going to do that. It's a really difficult situation, isn't it? Because if he lets go of this choke at this point, then he's in a full mount and he's just going to get the living snot beaten out of him. But he's clearly not going to finish the fight in this position. So what does he do? Really, he can only hold on. So I guess that's what he's going to do. Maybe if he can hold on for long enough, maybe he'll get the choke. But I doubt it. I think if he was going to get it, it'd be on by now. You know, this isn't an unlimited time bout, and I can see that. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, they're coming in to stop it, and yeah, and up they go. I don't think he did anything wrong in holding on to it. It was just that it was the wrong technique. He hadn't got it on properly, and he was never going to finish the fight. But once he was in that situation, his choice was to hold on, or, as Matt from the Boxing Locker would say, have the granny beaten out of him. So I'm assuming they're going to stand him up and start again. We've not got an awful lot left of this, so it's going to be quick. I guess now what we need to know is which one of them is the most tired from that. And I don't know. It could be either of them. Cyrus was clearly holding on for dear life, but it was his left arm. If his power punch is his right, he might still be good. But the other guy is going to be pissed off, and he's got a point to prove at this point. So let's see what's happening. Okay, up they come. Official break. Brought over. Start again. They're going to start again. Yep, here we go. Beautiful. And ooh, that was a nice leg kick, wasn't it? Nice, solid kick. Landed. Knocked him offline. Didn't check it. Just kind of took it. When you're fighting somebody and you throw a technique out there, whether it's a jab or a kick or a cross or whatever it is, and they respond with the same technique, it's kind of a sign to me that you've got inside the head, that they're not playing their own game at this point. They're not trying to force you to fight their fight. What's just happened here is that Hunter's thrown a solid kick, it's landed, and Cyrus has gone, wow, okay, leg kicks are a good idea, and then thrown a leg kick back. Again, it's another sign that he's not a particularly experienced fighter here. I mean, don't get me wrong, he could well be hard as nails, but I don't think he's done a vast amount of training. Oh, we're going to have to watch that again, aren't we? So what did we see? We saw a kick to the head, which I think landed. Did it land? But if it did, it was only glancing, and he spun round. He didn't control it, and as he spun, he fell. It's probably just a sign that he's really tired and gassed and struggling after being in that not quite choke for such a long time. And Cyrus, who, despite his obvious lack of training and ability, is fast and strong and accurate, yeah, landed a beautiful watch. So let's go back and watch that again. Does this land? No, I'm not sure it does. Oh, that little right hook. Beautiful. Yeah, you can't argue with that, can you? Well, that's unnecessary, isn't it? Yes, you can stop now. Yeah, I mean, all credit to both of them. They've both got in there. They've clearly both got a bit of skill. I think that from a pugilistic point of view, and this is something that we've been discussing in the comments of one of the videos recently, that they both showed a lot of bottom. We'll talk about that in another video. I think probably Hunter had more ability, but Cyrus had more speed, more power, and probably wanted it a little bit more. But I don't think he'd done an awful lot of training. So, over to you. What do you think? Have I missed anything? I mean, there was that fight recently where I missed a kick to the face. I don't think I've missed anything from this one. But if I have, stick it in the comments. Do you agree? Was it just a lucky shot? Or, yeah, was it well deserved? I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. And yeah, fight team.